Hello, welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. Well, our housing and the way we buy things, retail, it needs a fresh look. That according to our next guest, who is with the Association of California Cities Orange County. He's also a city council member in the city of Huntington Beach, Mike Posey. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Leslie.
Now, you're doing some work. You are a co-chair of Jobs and Economic Development for the Association of Cities, and some of the work you're doing focuses on the changes that we need in housing.
That's correct.
What are you finding?
Yeah, we certainly have an acute housing crisis, a shortage in Orange County. Everybody knows that. We're 60,000 to 100,000 housing units short of the demand. That's well documented. We're creating somewhere between 2.5 and 4 jobs for every house that we built. The gold standard is 1.5 jobs for every house that we built. So we're falling further and further behind, which means our freeways are getting more and more packed. And we really need to address that and say, so how do we address that when we're really out of land? And we are running out of land. Mature communities like Huntington Beach is where I live, we're essentially built out unless we think about repurposing some sites. And we do have aging strip malls. The retail business isn't there. Retailers now look at retail sites are more destinations. They need to incorporate entertainment, restaurants, and shopping. And we can solve the housing problem by incorporating those kind of retail sites with apartments, condominiums, and a higher density mixed use.
So it's really about a balance of controlling density and providing housing for people in a fresh new way. What do you imagine that, starting with your area, Huntington Beach, what do you imagine Huntington Beach will look like in the near future and in the distant future in terms of housing?
Well, certainly I think there'll be more people living there and it'll be more densely populated, and we can take a look back 50 years ago when Huntington Beach was mostly farms, some tracks, and a lot of vacant lots. We're evolving. We're urbanizing. Orange County is urbanizing. Mature coastal cities are urbanizing. So they'll be more dense, and they'll be a little bit more populous, that's for sure.
Going vertical, spreading out a little more density. So that really is on the heels of the city council to decide on some zoning laws and changes. And as a group, you get together with other cities to address these issues that you all share. What are some of the things that you are bringing up in your recent meetings?
Well, the last meeting that we had with the ACCOC was a presentation on repurposing some existing sites and incorporating some residential and converting some obsolete shopping centers into more dynamic shopping centers. And case in point is the Laguna Hills Mall. I think that's a pretty exciting project. Instead of an enclosed linear mall with anchors at each end and across from each other in the middle, they're repurposing that, including some residential, taking some of the anchors out, opening up some of the roof area for outdoor area. Aliso Viejo Town Center is another pretty exciting project. That town center has something like 36 different property owners. So it's city executives, city council, and the property owners and future tenants all getting together collaboratively to figure out how can we really put this in together in one package. And that looks like, to me, a very complex but exciting project. And in Huntington Beach, Bellaterra, which was along those same lines, is largely finished. That was the old Huntington Beach Mall, again enclosed, anchors at each end, and now it's more of an entertainment destination. There are more restaurants, there are several hundred apartments in there. They're all full, there's a waiting list for those apartments. It's a very popular place to be.
It almost sounds like small-scale individual cities that are popping up all over that address the needs of a very dense population, starting with the realities that have evolved to take us where we are now. Things are different, and they're going to continue to be different in ways we can't even anticipate, really.
You're exactly right. And I guess it's, you look back, and I traveled to Europe a lot, and we talked about that before, and there is something to be said for being able to walk to where you want to eat, walk to where you work would be a real luxury, walk where you shop, and not be reliant on cars, not be reliant on parking lots. People still want to drive. I know we're a car-centric culture, but it's proven that this type of development is popular, and the apartments are full. We have another project, Pacific City, right on the beach, 190,000 square feet of retail, with, I forget how many restaurants, 20-something restaurants and bars in there, and 514 apartments going up right behind it that will be open, I think, at the end of this year into 2017. I expect them to be completely full.
What are the discussions that you have and the concerns that city leaders or developers have when you look toward the future?
Well, I think probably the number one concern is with density is people, and that usually equates into a fear of traffic congestion. And it's really, we've been able to prove that the traffic count, car count is lower. And it's hard to imagine that you say, how can you put 500 people, let's say the Bellaterra Mall, how can you put 500 residents in there and say you have fewer cars? Well, you have the same number of shoppers, but you have fewer car trips. Drive in and they stay, and it's the traffic studies show it. So.
And studies even continue to show that we may not be driving at all. The cars may be driving themselves. People are using other Uber services and things like that.
That's true. I think we're probably, I still enjoy driving, so I hope we're a long ways off from that. But people will still drive. We're investing in our freeways. We're investing in our surface streets. So we do need to be cognizant of the fact that we're going to still be using cars. But I think that people will be taking shorter trips and taking fewer trips. And that's really the idea of mixed-use development.
Some development has to do with just keeping up with the times, evolving. But you have set your sights on having Orange County become the next Silicon Valley. Can you really plan for that? Can you really say, okay, this is the place you want to do business?
I think we can. Orange County is probably a beacon for people that want to live here. We have great weather, we have great attractions, the beach, great restaurants, and economic opportunities are plentiful. What we have to really, and I think as part of my job on the ACCOC, is really how do we attract those jobs, those incubators, and we have to start with the next generation of people that are going to be those entrepreneurs. And if we have the housing, we have the entrepreneurs here, and we can look at how do we incubate the next generation of entrepreneurs. So
how do you? What kinds of things do you do to attract them to come here?
Well, we already have, I think, a pretty good high-tech biomedical number of employers here, and maybe the incubation is the suppliers for those, engineering for those, and expanding that type of industry here. Silicon Valley is still San Jose, but maybe our mantra is biomedical. That seems to, and aerospace, of course, we're still the aerospace leader. 1960s, 1970s, we had many, many more jobs than we do now. But there's incorporation of advanced materials, manufacturing with carbon fiber, manufacturing with different types of techniques. That's going to really lead the world. So.
Yeah, the fear of change, people losing their jobs, it seems to be turning to excitement and just a matter of natural change, evolution that we're on the crux of, and it's very interesting to talk to you about that today. Mike Posey, City Council Member, Huntington Beach, Association of Cities, Orange County. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. I'm Leslie Leyton.